Today is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, and it is Yom Revi'i, fourth day of the week, the 10th day of Elul, 5785. The Parsha is Shoftim. Daf Yomi is the new tractate of Horiot, page 2, which is really the first page, so it's like saying page 1, but it starts on Daf Bet, and it is the 11th day of Rabi Alawal in the Islamic Hijri calendar, which is the year 1447. And this is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Meta Recursive Thought Calendar, or just simply Quantum Thought Calendar, which also considers the planet Koach, also known as Mercury. And it's a Gematriatic Thought Calendar. I've explained it in many videos, but I'll just jump into the numbers to keep it short. The numbers of today are 20 and 40. Why? Because today is September 10th. And if you're the 10th of any month in this dispensation, you're always going to be in this box. And it's box 20. And the coordinates are H5 is 20. And on the Hebrew calendar, and that was the Hebrew calendar. Elul 10th is on box 20. And on the English calendar, the Gregorian calendar, we're on the third day of September, and the coordinates for that are A5. So H5 and A5. The 20 and 40 are parallel to each other in many ways, not just because they're double, but conceptually and numerologically, gematriatically, they're connected. And there's a few different things that came to mind. And if you study I'm going to keep it really broad, but if you study this, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I'm not so exact in it, but you'll see. You'll know what I'm talking about. I have to read through it again, but if you read the measurements of the different specifications of the tabernacle, whether it's in Exodus or you're looking at the temple in Ezekiel, you're going to see a lot of recurring measurements of 20 and 40, like 20 boards, and then there's like 40 boards or something like that. But I remember reading it, and it was hard for me to understand it when I read it, and it's hard for me to place when this Ezekiel calendar exactly is talking about. People say it's in the future, and you can read it that way, but some people say it's in the past. It's the second temple, and the measurements, maybe it can't be the second temple, but maybe it's not the third temple in the way we think it is. Maybe there's a lot of possibilities. It's not so clear when I read it. So I don't know what any of you think about it, but one thing is, when you read the measurements, you'll see 40 planks, or 40 this, and then it was 20 this, 40 this, 20 this. And when I saw that over and over again throughout the measurements, I thought about this calendar, because that's the bulwark of this calendar. It's based on 20 and it's based on 40, and then of course by extension it's based on 80. But 40 I would say that 40 is the main number of this calendar. But 20 is also, if you look at the significant coordinates on the sides, the ones that are the integral numbers, as I call them, it's going to be 20 here, and 20 over here, and 40 over here in this corner, and 40 in this corner, and then on this corner it's 28 and 8, and then the same thing over here, 8 and 28. So these, and then 12 and then 32. But if you're going to look at it in terms of 40 and 40, so it's 8 times 5, the integral numbers are these: 8, 28, 40, and 20. Those are the integral numbers. And so why is it really interesting is that 40 is a big number in Lubavitch, because the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and part of this is about the Messiah. So Lubavitch is connected to it, no doubt about it. And so it was said that when Lubavitcher Rebbe became the Rebbe in 1951, when it came 1991, maybe it was the year after that, 1992, but 1991 in the fall, I think it was 40 years. And what was said is that it takes 40 years, it's like a generation. This is the generation, and now that it's passed, it's going to move into the next, Lubavitch, Chabad, is going to move into the next phase. And the verse they brought to back that up is a verse in the book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 11. It says, "Vatishkot haaretz 40 shana vayamat or vatamat Otniel ben Kenaz." This is talking about the judge Otniel ben Kenaz when he was victorious over the enemies of Israel. It says there was peace and quiet. Tishkot, it was quiet, and it was peaceful for 40 years. And I don't know if they did this intentionally, but it's fascinating that I found out just now, because I put the name Otniel ben Kenaz in the Gematria calculator. And guess what number came up? 770. This judge could have a remez to 770, and the Mashiach, I'll just say momentum. Let's just say Mashiach momentum through 770. It's a chariot. It's like a Merkava of the Mashiach. It's like, I'm learning if you're following along with the openings of wisdom that I'm doing in the morning, it's a Kabbalistic work by the Ramchal. He says that, and I think Lubavitch, when their Kabbalah includes this too, that this particular energy clothes itself in another energy. So it's like this light comes in, but this light is too pure, too sublime to be just open. So it has to clothe itself in another kind of light, which is a little bit more dense. That way it can come to the next level down, and then that light is still too luminous and brilliant for anyone to even exist around it or interact with it. So then it clothes, as it were, itself in another more dense form of light. And so finally, when it comes to our plate, it sort of condenses into our reality. There's a very thick, coarse there's a clothing, like our clothing. Think about our clothing compared to our body, and our body compared to our spirit. It's like the different materials that are compatible for different worlds. And what's interesting is that it says that the 40 years after Otniel ben Kenaz is Gematria 770. But what does that have to do with today? Because on the calendar, today's the 10th day of Elul. And remember, in the rule of 40, you can add and subtract 40. That goes into is quiet for 40 years. The same idea. It goes back around. But look, 770 minus 40 is 730, right? Minus 40 is 690. Minus 40, 650. Minus 40, 610. Minus 40 is minus 40 is 570, right? Minus 40 is 530. You keep doing that. You see how 570 was the same thing as 770? So now I don't have to do it anymore. 770, 570, 370, 170, minus 40, 130. Minus 40 is 90. Minus 40 is 50. Minus 40 is 10. What's today? The 10th of Elul. That's how this is supposed to work. That whatever number you work with, you take that 40 and you add it You string it down. It's a train station, and the train of thought goes through. It stops at 40, it stops at 80, it stops at 120, it stops at 160, 200, 240. That's the train thoughts of how this is operated. But those train thoughts, it's amazing how it comes out to be on that day. Like, I did not know until right now, until today, on the 10th of Elul, that Otinel Kanaz equals 770. I knew about the 40 years, though. I knew about that. But the fact that I connected Otinel Kanaz, 770, today, on the 10th of Elul, 20, box 20 is the 10th of Elul, and it's going to be the 10th of September when we get there, too. And it was the 10th of Rabbi Elul. So, 40... here's something interesting, that the verse is Judges 3:11, but what's 3 times 11? It's 33, and 33. It's just really interesting. You might think I'm stretching it a bit, but I don't think it's a stretch, because you count 33 boxes, and you're going to get to 40. 40 is the third day of any month, so it's a 30-day month. So 30 plus. Today's September 3rd, and it was when it was L3 last week, a week ago, it was also here. So it's the 33rd day. So I mean, just think about what are the chances that I'm discovering something from the book of Judges. It's in chapter 3, verse 11, and 3 times 11 is 33, and this is the 33rd box. I mean, you might think it's a stretch, and you might think it's like really just being creative and playing with the numbers, but you see, if it was just this one thing that happened, but there are little pieces of a big puzzle, and this happens every day. It's not just a one-time thing. This happens every day. Things just like this. So I think by now I've demonstrated what the PL-89 Gematriatic quantum thought calendar is supposed to do. It's supposed to tune you into the time, plug you into a structure, anyone who wants to use it, and see what are we dealing with here? Is this made up stuff? Did I make it up? Did I make up that this Atinel Kanaz situation is in Judges 3:11? Did I make up that today's 10th of Elul? Did I make up 770's Labash? No, I didn't make up any of this stuff. And yet they're here, and you can see it, and it's verifiable, and it's not just philosophy and not making up stuff. We're looking for the hard science, mathematics, observable data. Thank you.